Hi there, I can engineer just about anything. Can I design a flying craft to take my friend here 20 feet across safely? Watch me design, craft, and test my way through multiple creative problems to find a solution so I can teach you how to build this. So where do we start? The first thing we need to do is design. And for that, best way to do it is to draw it out. And I want to see what things are going to look like before you build them. So I'll be building an airplane of some sort, something that flies, something that can deliver my my buddy here. What happened to my friend? Does anybody know what happened to Dizzy?
Christina.
All right, everybody find out and look for Dizzy. Okay, thank you. What's your face? Thank you, Yuri, for Dizzy. We need to get our friend here up in the air, safely across 20 feet at the very least. Let's go for more, but let's see if we can get her across just 20 feet. So we do need to build some kind of an airplane. I don't know what kind of an airplane, but that's what we need to figure out. She fell. Oh no, Dizzy, no. Okay. So, let's see here. We need to figure out what kind of an airplane. Personally, I feel like just whoa, what happened there? All kinds of stuff going on my computer. Oh, there's a cat. Is that a cat? We don't have cats. I don't know where that came from.
Oh yeah.
Was that you, Frank? Are you a cat now? Right. So we want to design an airplane that has enough surface area for her to sit in. And I want to complicate things because that's what I do. There's this thing about engineers. You want to build the simplest thing. The simplest thing you build is always going to be better than the most complicated thing. Just because complicated things happen to break a lot. So you don't want to do that. But me, I'm not a very good engineer. I'm a terrible engineer. And everything I build is super complicated. So I want to build this kind of airplane. And it's a glider that flaps its wings. And it looks a lot like this. Just like that. And I want to stick our friend Dizzy. I want to stick her inside here. So that you end up with a little person just hanging out there. That's, you know, kind of like a little pilot. Just want to stick her in there. And to build this kind of aircraft, what you want to do is, first of all, you're going to need some paper. But not this one, because this is a card that my daughter gave me. Right, so we're going to need some paper. And we're going to need some scissors. And we're going to need some tape. So we're going to need some tape. Preferably the smaller kind. Does anybody want to volunteer to give me my tape? Because it kind of fell. Right. So we're going to get some of these materials and just going to lay them out. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is get your piece of paper and you want to make it square. And the way you do that is that you want to take one of the corners and fold it over, but don't crease it. You want to just even out the edges so that they're flush with each other. Uh-oh, we're having some problems over here, which is fine because we don't expect it to be 100% even. There's always going to be some irregularities. Don't crease it. I just want you to make sure that you have that even on this edge. And then what you want to do is you want to crease this little section on this side so that you have a nice sharp crease. And you see that right there? That's our marker. We're going to take our piece of paper and we're going to fold it at that crease where the crease intersects the edge of our paper. And you're going to want to just make the new edge that we built over here. You want to make that very, very even. And then you crease it across. That is now your cut line. So you end up with something that looks like this. If you really wanted to, you could just take a ruler and I'm going to use this thing right here. And it seems to be, oh, I can't even see. Okay, it seems to be about 6.5 centimeters, and that's what we're going to cut off, 6.5 centimeters, if you wanted to do it that way. But I don't think that's necessary. I think you do the crease method, and then you go ahead and you cut across. And again, if you get this slightly wrong or off or slightly askew, that's not bad. It just means that we're gonna have to, you know, work harder at making this thing fly, but that's okay. It should be all right. Now that you have that, you want to do another fold, and what you want to do now is that because you have a pretty much square piece of paper, my daughter's giggling somewhere. What's going on over there? All right. Okay. So now that you have a piece of paper that's pretty much square, you want to fold that in half to make a triangle. And now that you made a triangle, you want to start going back and forth, folding it over on itself about 2-3 centimeters wide. Let's see, let's check that for push, just to make sure we're doing the right thing. Yeah, that's about 2 centimeters, and we're gonna keep doing that until we end up with a nice flat band, back and forth, over and over again. And for your video, I'm probably going to speed this up because it just takes too long. Now, that's what we want, because this is our guide, okay? We now have to reverse what we did, and I like to just take those lines that I did, and I like to fold them over and over, roll them. Basically, I'm rolling them forward until I end up with something that looks like this. And again, it doesn't have to be completely perfect. We just want it to be straight. Okay, now that we have this, all I gotta do is kind of start forming something that looks like this, a nice little circle. We're making a cylinder out of our paper, and it's gonna look something like that. And at this point, what we need to do is we take our tape and our scissors. Let me clean up my area just a bit because it's getting a little bit cluttered. I'm gonna put these extra pieces of paper down here. Also, be careful with this right here. This is these are gonna be our wings, so put that off to the side somewhere. Let me clean up my mess here a little bit. It's always a good idea to work cleanly. You gotta camera. You gotta work cleanly. If you have a mess on your table, then it's I'm a big fan. Hold up.
I'm a big fan of cooking, and all these books I read about can always tell me that my mise en place, my area where I work, it's a good representation of how my brain is working.
So a cluttered mess is a cluttered mind.
So you want to keep your area, your work area, nice and clean. You grab a piece of tape, you put the tape back. You grab your scissors, you make sure that you put them nice, somewhere where they're not going to be bothered by anything else, and you're going to be able to remember where it's at.
Okay, so now that we got that out of the way, back to this. Got a piece of tape, cut a piece of tape, tape a piece of tape, just like that. And then what you want to do with this one is that you want to butterfly your piece of tape, grab maybe about 3 centimeters worth of tape, and then you do a butterfly, which is basically you're taking it and you're folding it on itself like that, and then you're placing it on top of your little glider. And then this is the hard part. I guess the best way I could teach you how to do it is that if you want to fold it evenly and then just make a little small crease on one of the edges, not the full length of it, just a small corner there. You want to place it on top of your little joint here and press it down. Make sure it's nice and even. If it's not the first time, it's okay. Most of the tapes out there now are pretty forgiving, so you could probably take it off again. And there you have it. This is your new glider. If you wanna, they could probably toss it at one of my kids. Hold up. You didn't see that. You didn't. But that went pretty far. All right, hold on. Let's toss it back and forth for a bit. Ooh, that one was good. All right, here we go. All right, don't hit the camera, woman. Does it seem like it goes very far? But trust me, once we're out there in our test site, you'll see it goes pretty far. So, this is our current weather here at the test site, and I just don't know if any of our experiments are going to work today. We might have to postpone her flight. Sorry, there's no one around. It's perfectly safe. The 20 or more feet that we want her to fly is right back over there, and I'm looking at the wind, and it seems to be just a terrible day for flying. So we might have to postpone her flight, but maybe we'll try a few times. Let's see how that goes. Fell out. You see, that's the thing about being a builder. Sometimes you do everything right, and sometimes things don't go as planned. As a maker, I always follow the engineering principles. I identify my requirements. I do some research. I dream up some ideas. I create. And I task myself with one extra rule. Don't give up.
Action!
There we go. I feel like that went very well. I'm very happy about that. I think that personally, I'm just happy that we went past our 20-foot goal, because we went a total of 33 feet, give or take. I didn't have a tape measure, but what I did was I went on my phone and I used Google Maps, and it has a ruler, a ruler option. Measuring, that's what it's called, a measuring tape, a digital measuring tape, and and I use that to measure out the distance. And I feel that if those rocks had not been there, our glider would have gone past those rocks and probably into the water, which are an additional maybe 10 feet or so, 10, 12 feet. So we're talking about 40 feet all overall. We could have gone over 40 feet. I feel like had we been back at our test site and had we had perfect wind conditions, there's no telling. We could have gone pretty far. Also, I'm wondering, when you build your glider, what kind of problems are you going to have? Maybe you don't have the same materials I used. Maybe you use construction paper, for example. If it's heavier, what will you have to do to get your glider to fly long and steady and stabilized? So I'm just very excited to see what you come up with. Maybe your gliders will go farther than mine. Maybe they won't. Maybe they'll just have a more spirited flight. Maybe they'll have some sweeps to the right, sweeps to the left. Maybe they'll turn over and maybe they'll roll. Who knows? This is exciting. Go build. Also, that back there has a lot in common with our next build. We are going to be building something that floats. We'll have maybe a watercraft of some sort, and we'll have it hopefully propel itself through the water across a certain distance. Maybe we'll take our friend Jessi on a ride. Hopefully she'll survive that. But that's next time. See you next build.